Welcome to another Node-RED video. This is actually part 2 of a video series on storing IoT data in a SQL database using Node-RED. And in this video we're going to look at storing JSON data. In the previous video we just looked at storing text and numerical data, and I recommend you watch that video if you haven't already watched it before you continue with this video, and you'll find a link in the description below. Okay, so why store raw JSON data? The main reason is your data stream might consist of a large number of properties, large number of objects, and you'll see when we actually do this that you need to extract the fields from those objects in order to actually put them into columns. That means that if you had about 40 fields in the incoming data stream, then you do have to extract all those 40 fields to put them into database columns. Now, the disadvantage of storing raw JSON data is if you need to search the database, which you will, that's the idea of actually storing it into a database to make the data easily accessible, then you won't be able to search on those JSON fields. Now, I believe MySQL currently does support the JSON data type, and I know SQLite has extensions to support JSON. I'm not using them here, I haven't used them yet, but if there is enough interest I will do another video on that and see how they work. However, in this video we're actually going to be storing JSON data as text, because remember that JSON is a text string and it's sent across the network as text, and it's stored as text, and we're going to store it in the database as text. So let's look at our flow. It's very similar to the previous flow that we had, and we've got the show records inject node here, which is configured to inject periodically so we don't have to refresh it, and that drives the user interface. And here we can see the data here. Now I've got 3 columns: timestamp, sensor and raw data. This is a raw input data, and I've got a couple of helper inject nodes here where I can create the tables and I can delete the tables. And this is the main part of it here, where we inject our test data, and we have the test data function. Again, it's the same as the one I showed you in the previous video, except this time I've enabled, let's expand it, this time I've enabled it so it's actually sending data for 3 sensors, but otherwise it's identical to the previous video. So if I just inject some data here, and we take a look at it here, you can see here we've got a timestamp. I'm just using a simple counter, 1, 2 and 3, and we've got the sensor, which is sensors 3, 2 and 1, and then we've got the raw JSON data, and you can see I'm storing the sensor 3, temperature, humidity, and the timestamp. This is the raw data. That's the test data that's being created. This is the incoming data here. And what I do with this incoming data is I extract the timestamp from it, and I extract the sensor, and I use those as keys. And the reason I do this is because you may want to just list all the data for sensor 1, all the data for sensor 2, or all the data for a particular time period. And you can do that if they're keys. You can't do that if they're just stored as part of the raw JSON data. And that's what we mentioned in the introduction. So if I wanted to search on temperature, then I would have to create a new column for temperature and extract temperature from the incoming data stream. Now obviously this is a very small data stream. If we had a very large data stream, there'd probably be other fields or values we'd want to extract so we could search on those as well. However, the principle is the same, and that's why I've kept it small. So let's have a look at what we're doing to extract these values here. So this is all done in the write query function, and let me open that up. So we're loading the payload into raw data. Now this is what I'm going to actually store raw data. Now from that I parse it to get a JavaScript object and store it in a temporary variable, and then from that I extract the timestamp and I extract the sensor. You can see it here. And now I create the database query that's going to insert these values. And we have the timestamp, this is a number, and then we have the sensor, which is actually a string, and then we have the raw data again, which is a string. And if you remember from the previous video, we have to use delimiters because we have to put quotes around the strings. And then the topic is this query here, insert into data plus this message here, create a new message object, set the topic, set the payload to the timestamp. I don't know why that's there. I don't actually need it there, so I could just comment it out. It's not causing me any problems though, so don't worry about that. And then I return the message, and that is the function. So if I wanted to search on temperature, then I would have to create a column for that temperature. So I'd need to extract the temperature from the raw data, which I'd do here, variable temperature equals temp.temperature. I'd create one there, and then I'd insert the column in here, so timestamp, sensor, temperature, raw data, and again I'd have to insert it also in here as part of the value. Okay, that was a very quick video. In the next video we're actually going to look at displaying that data. So there's one thing about storing it, we need to view that data, and we'll look at doing that in the next video. So that's the end of the video. If you've got any comments on the video, then please leave them below, and if you like the video, then you can click on the like button below. And if you want to get notified of new videos on the channel, then you can always subscribe, and I believe there's a notification bell there that if you click that, you'll get notified when the videos are published. If you use social media and like to share the video on social media, then please feel free. Until next time, goodbye.